Hello, and welcome. Today I have with me Joe, and I want to get this right from Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey. How are you?
Hey, Dee Dee. I'm doing really well today. I am so excited to be here. So apologies if I'm a little bit hyper.
No, no, that's okay. I'm excited to have you. And you know what? I just got to tell you, your accent is everything. I can
Oh,
listen to you talk all day.
I tell you what, my accent is terrible. I'm apparently I'm very common in the UK. I've not got the posh accent that I'm supposed to have.
Now, were you born and raised in the UK?
Yes, I was. Born and raised in Nottingham, which is in the Midlands. You probably know Robin Hood. I'm from Robin Hood
Wow.
country. But
Wow.
my dad, he's from St. Lucia in the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. Very cool, very cool. And I love your hair. I love the glasses. I just love the vibe.
This
I love your whole vibe. Yes. All right. So I want you to tell us all about your Mounjaro journey. And, we were talking before, and you were saying the UK was kind of late to the GLP-1 party. So we're going to talk about that a little bit about that too. But before we dive into that, I just want you to kind of tell us about what led you to actually decide to take Manjaro and get on that GLP-1 journey, and what led you up to the point where you even needed to do that?
Great question. Well, I'm 49 next month, and I was living my life like an old lady. Um, I've got these chronic conditions, and they started. I think I got COVID in September 2020, and then after that, and I was recovering. Suddenly, I found out I was getting breathless a lot. Weight would just come on, and then a little bit excess, just subside a little bit, then go on even more. I would have really bad kidney pain. And it turned out that since September 2020, I've now got
9.
nine chronic conditions. And I thought, do you know what? I need some help. I need some help. And so luckily I just got diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. It turned out I'd actually stopped breathing 600 times a night.
How
My
many times?
600. And
600.
my heart stops beating for up to 4 seconds in the night. And I live on my own. So I thought I was dying. You can't be dying at 48. I'm saying that. We've got low death rates, in my family, we die early. So I thought I need to do something. And that's where Mounjaro came to the rescue. Ah!
Okay, so Manjaro came to the rescue. So how'd you hear about it? Like, how did you know? Were you keeping up with what was going on in the States?
No, because again, in the States, in the UK, we only heard about Ozempic and we were told it's for celebrities. So
Who
it was,
told you that?
well, the media,
Okay,
they've carried
okay.
on with no, the media's fine. But the UK, because it wasn't readily available on the NHS, so our doctors weren't really talking about it. But then you'd find out that someone had lost weight very recently, and then you'd ask them how, and then you found out that's how they'd done it. And my person was my friend's husband. We worked together back in the 90s, in nightclubs. He was the DJ and I was on the bar. And we worked together. And so as we was getting older, we'd say, oh my God, are you suffering with it? Yeah, I'm suffering with this. And then all of a sudden I went round and I was at my biggest. I think I was 359 pounds, struggling. And I thought, this is going to be the last time I see my friends at Christmas. And I turned up and this man looked spectacular. He looked like he did back in the 90s. And I asked him what it was. And he said, Mounjaro, I'm paying for it privately. Just do it. And I was like, I'm going to ask my doctors about this. And that's how it happened.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the whole healthcare of it all. Because when you say NHS, what does that mean?
So in the UK, we have the National Health Service. I think it was set up back in 1926. And well, no, I think it was set up actually. It was after the Second World War. So they said,
Mhm.
everyone's done all of this work to make sure that the country gets through this war. Now we have to make sure that we provide them with a health service that is fit for purpose. So everyone in the UK pays their national insurance from their earnings. And it's I think it's something like 12%. Don't quote me on that because my numbers come from anywhere.
So if you have a job, they take that 12% out of your pay to go toward the healthcare system.
Yes, and it also goes
Interesting.
to things like so it also covers things like refuse collection, the health and social care. So if people get elderly and they need they need to be put in residential homes and need that support from a residential home, all that's covered through the the national insurance. I'm saying
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
10%, but it may not be. I will send you a message later to tell you what it is.
Okay.
In case you want to put it.
Now I wonder, is it 12%? Like, let's say it's 12%. Is it 12% for everyone, or is it dependent on your income? So I guess that would be 12% of whatever you make is still going to be. So if I make $1 million and I'm paying 12%, I'm going to be paying more than you would if you made, 40,000.
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure if I'm honest. I think it is that you have a base rate. So I think if you earn less than a certain amount of money, then you don't have to pay it.
Okay.
Or I know that's how it is with taxes anyway. But after the fact, then everyone pays this specific rate. So I'm sure that's what it is. But also the employer pays into it as well. And again, I do not know what that rate is. But
Wow.
for an employee that's full-time, for example, then your employer will also pay into the national insurance.
Well, then this is the question for you because, and I don't know, hopefully you know this, but so where does the GLP-1s fit in? I hear in the UK it's just all Mounjaro. Is that correct? Like there is no.
I think there are some. Right. Now, this is what I know. The NHS will have certain criteria that you need to meet. And so what they were originally doing was they were offering type 2 diabetics who were struggling on the regular medication, their blood sugars weren't coming down. They were being offered the Ozempic. Yes, it was called Ozempic, wasn't it? That's the semaglutide.
Yes. Yes.
So they were being offered that. Um, and then there was some sort of trial where pre-diabetics were offered I'm saying Lyra something. I think you know the name of it, but if the brand name is Sexander.
Okay. Yes.
Then they realized that actually this is not only is it helping them with the blood sugars, it's also helping them with the weight.
Wait.
Because most of the people that they were prescribing it to, they had BMIs that were high BMI numbers. So then they realized that the weight was coming down. So like you guys then got Wegovy on available. I don't
Yeah.
know really so much about Wegovy because it wasn't being prescribed through NHS. They were still only providing their Ozempic for the diabetics.
Okay.
It's from December 2024, the NICE guidelines. Now, the NICE guidelines, I cannot remember. I had it on the top of my head earlier and I forgot it. I will send that over to you shortly what it is. But it's the National Institute for something excellence. Institute for Care Excellence, I think it is. They sort of like govern the NHS processes. So the NICE guidelines said we should actually be now supporting those with weight management issues using the tirzepatide, and the tirzepatide of choice in the UK is Mounjaro.
Okay.
However, the most people that are on Mounjaro in the UK are all paying for it privately and paying through local pharmacists. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so you're paying, so that NHS isn't paying for it. It's going through a private, like, so you're paying out of pocket. Now, how much do you pay out of pocket? Do you or is it expensive?
I think it is, but then also look at your numbers. So for me, I think on average, because different providers have got different prices, but you also get different levels of care and different levels of whether it's accessible or not. So if it's out of stock, then forget it. But with
Right.
mine's always in stock. So I think it's on average £189 which I think is just over $200 something. But that's for one pen. We only get one pen with 4 doses.
Okay, so you have like the quick, is that called the quick pen? I think that's what they refer to as the quick pen. Okay. All right, so that's still cheaper than what we're paying here, with ours. So, wow. Okay, and that's your private, you're paying for it yourself. I was doing a little bit of research on it, and it says you have to have, at least 4 obesity related conditions. So, like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep apnea, which you have, or high cholesterol, and your BMI has to be greater than 40 in order to qualify. And they call that like phase 1. So it's just so funny how they have like a system where you have to have this, that, and other. And I haven't really heard that in the US. You have to have like certain criteria. Maybe that's how they're doing it, but it just isn't publicized. Or maybe the Downsizing Diva just doesn't know that. But
This is why the community is so critical to our success, because we learn so much from each other. And I think that's brilliant what you've just found out today, Dee, because that criteria has only literally gone live today. So as of the 23rd of June, if you've got BMI over 40, so mine's 58,
yes.
if you've got 4 of those 5 comorbidities, well, I've got 4, then technically my GP should now be able to
Pay for it.
Right.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
this is so
Right.
frustrating.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I love that. So yes, and I think that if people knew that, hopefully, over there, your news outlets and everybody is like spreading that word, because isn't that cool? The people who are paying for that out of pocket now have some relief. And it's something that you need. It's not like it's a luxury, right? It's a necessity. It's a necessity.
This is the terrible thing. So remember I had my CPAP on the same day that I got my Mounjaro.
Yes.
The NHS is so overwhelmed at the moment. So I actually had my sleep study test in September 2024, but didn't get the results until beginning of April. So that's 7
You're
months.
kidding.
I could have died every night that I went to sleep between them. I didn't get the results until early April, on the same day that I got my Mounjaro. But my GP has really been supporting me. So he was the one who said, yes, Joe, your friend's husband is correct. He is on Mounjaro, but we should be able to prescribe it, but we're not able to prescribe it yet. We're waiting for the go-ahead.
No, wait, does GP mean general practitioner?
Yes, apologies.
Okay.
So I'm general practitioner. What I was trying to tell my channel is healthcare provider. So I'm going to try and say that more often now.
Okay.
So my healthcare provider, he said to me, as soon as we get the go ahead, I'm going to let you know. So I'm waiting for a phone call today. But meanwhile, what he did was he referred me for tier 3 weight management. So with tier 3, you only need a high BMI and 1 comorbidity. Listen to this, Dee. The tier 3 responded to the referral. And they said, unfortunately, we haven't got the ability to provide Mounjaro yet. We've not got that cleared through as being a cost-effective way of managing weight. So instead, she can have bariatric surgery, but it's a year's waiting list.
What? Jeez Louise.
I love
Goodness.
Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise. Now that's a true Jeez Louise moment. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, okay, so for some reason, I thought your healthcare system was so much more on it than ours, and I guess with the pricing, because maybe I was focused on that, but that waiting is just ridiculous. I mean, we wait here too, but I haven't heard someone say they had to wait a whole year. I'm sure it's happened. You just don't hear about that a lot, you do have to wait to get into some specialists here. And I don't know if it's because more and more people require a specialist or there are less specialists available, right? And I know I remember during COVID, I remember hearing a lot of healthcare professionals were leaving the profession left and right. So I'm sure that didn't help. It's probably in the UK as well. So I'm sure that didn't help, but I mean, that's ridiculous because, like you say, things could happen to you in that 7 months to years time, and then what do you do? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's sad, isn't it? It's really sad, and it does speak to the inequalities. Um, where, as you say, some people could be paying for the service and get whatever they need immediately. But if you've got no way of paying for it, I mean, I'm not working at the moment, but I'm prioritizing. Well, I pay my mortgage first, obviously.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I'm paying for is the Mounjaro, because I think if I don't, then I'm not going to be here anyway. But I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do that.
Yes. But I think what you have to do as soon as we're off this recording, as soon as we finish this interview, you need to call and find out about the eligibility for the phase one, right? That should
Yeah.
reduce your payment a whole lot because you qualify, right? You qualify. So that is awesome.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's said with my healthcare provider, he's so good. He's so good. So everyone, and I'm sure you find this the same way in the States. Everyone who is in the healthcare service, they've got all the right intentions. They want to do what's right for their patients, and they just want to look after people and take care of their health needs. It's the system that's stopping them in their tracks.
Yes. Yes. We hear that a lot. We find that a lot. A lot of red tape, right? When people just want healing and want to feel better. So I think this is great. I think this is a great discussion. I think this is nice to hear that some similar things are going on, and it's because I think sometimes we always think in the U.S. we have it the worst, right? Because we have so much red tape involved in our system. But to hear it's happening in other places, and I don't know why I'm not really shocked, but it's just surprising. Like the 7 months, 7 months. Now I haven't heard that somebody had to wait 7 months to get the results, not just to do something about it, to get the results for a sleep apnea test. Now, so anybody listening and said that happened to me, I don't know who you are. So I'm not saying it
Never.
doesn't happen. I'm just saying I've never heard that, and I've heard of a lot of people taking a sleep study test. My dad has taken one and didn't have to wait that long for results. I mean, I just would be so outraged if he had to wait that long to
Did you
figure
have
things
a
out.
CPAP machine?
He did get the CPAP machine, yes, yes, so he has that. So, okay, so sleep apnea was kinda like a driving force for you, so has Mounjaro improved that?
Massively so. So I think this is what's really, really weird. Whilst I was getting all these diagnoses for the different chronic cold conditions, my doctors were saying, Joe, there's things you can do to help yourself. And I was like, right, let's do it. So that's when I started doing intermittent fasting. That's when I cut out all of the foods that would set off my irritable bowel syndrome. So they were mainly high, they're called FODMAPs, but ultimately it's complex carbs. Things like bread, milk, garlic. Garlic is one that sets off my IBS. So I'd be cutting those out. Then someone said, do low carb. So I was doing that. So that was from 2022 up until when I got my CPAP machine. I was doing one meal a day, which was a low carb, high protein meal and no more than 1,400 calories. And yet every month I'd put on at least 8 pounds. Every month. I was
Mhm.
honest, what is going on? The moment I got my Mounjaro, my first night of sleep with the CPAP machine, my CPAP machine's called Colin. So me and Colin are very close now. He's become like he's my significant other because I can't imagine life without him at the moment. But
So
seriously,
you started using that CPAP, Colin.
uh,
You started using that the same day time you started the Mounjaro. So they're like 20 buddies, and it's together.
and they're working like that. They're working so well. But I'm sure I've seen it in your comments. I've seen a lot of people say that their Mounjaro has helped with things like, or the tirzepatides, they've helped with things like inflammation.
Mhm.
So with all some of my other chronic conditions, they're inflammation related. I've seen a massive improvement from that. And
You have.
it's just, I don't want to say it's a miracle because we do have to work at it as well. It's not
Yeah.
doing all the work, But it's doing an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. So you were so strict with your so wait, let's tell us because let's back up and maybe you told us and then I'm confused. But so what made you put on all these pounds? Like what do you think it was that was the catalyst for that?
So my doctors told me it's because my body is unwell. And so
Okay.
it's under stress. And again, I didn't realize that my doctors didn't even know that my sleep results, when I say my doctors, the healthcare providers, they didn't know until I got the results that I was stopping breathing 600 times a night. So of course the stress of and that was why, and I was just retaining water. So again, I think a lot of my weight loss is water weight.
Were you
And
stress eating? Were you stress eating, do you think?
I don't think I was stress eating, but what I wasn't able to do is I wasn't able to move because I was
Oh,
constantly
okay.
falling asleep. That's why I'm not working at the moment, because they had a restructure at my work in November, and so it was like the restructure. Lots of us were left to go, and I was trying to get another job, but I'd be turning up for the interview an hour late. Honestly, I'm mortified saying it. Or I'd be turning up and I'd be struggling to stay awake through the interview. And I thought,
Okay.
this isn't right. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'd always be asleep on the settee whenever anyone was asking me about, oh, Joe, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, my bad. I was asleep for 6 hours. So I think this was the real big crux of it, and the fact that I couldn't move. I was surviving. I was not living. I was not thriving.
Now you told me your starting weight was 351. So and I know how I felt at 306. So I can't even imagine 50 more pounds on top. Well, I think that wasn't even my highest, but it wasn't at 351. I just can't imagine like moving and all of that because it just becomes laborious, right? To just, put one foot in front of the other. So I can imagine all that stress on your body and you're not sleeping, in addition to that, that's just a lot of stress. And probably you were holding on to fat, water, whatever you could, right? When your body is stressed out like that. So you take the Manjaro. And so I'm interested in this diet because I just recently I saw you said you lost 9 pounds in a week. And I looked at that and I had to do a double take. I said, 9 pounds? Geez, Louise.
I got Jeez Louise.
9 pounds. I mean, what is going on? Jeez Louise. So, I mean, so obviously you're doing something right with your diet, but I just worry that you don't have enough calories though, because I don't want you to ever get under that 1,200. Sometimes they say 1,500. I've also heard 1,500. We shouldn't go beneath that. But you're not moving as much. How are you doing with the food now? Are you OMAD, 1 meal a day? Are you low carb? Are you keto? What are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing all of it. I'm doing all of it. So what I do is, um, I eat only 1 meal a day, and I try and eat in a certain window. So long as it's over 12 p.m., so long as it's after like noon, then I can eat whenever I feel hungry. And then, as you say, I'll eat 24 hours later. But the foods that I make, the portions are ridiculous. But what I make is, like today, I've got some flank steak, and I think it's about 400 grams raw. What I'll do is I'll put that with, I've got some courgette, some green beans, and a green bell pepper. So what I do is I put all of those in the oven because while my Raynaud's is still, I get really bad Raynaud's, so it's not able to cook and prepare food so well. So everything just goes into the oven, and I'll put that in, and put some. When I say seasoning, I can only use herbs and peppers. So I can't use the garlic or the celery salts or the onion salts. All of those
Okay.
things will set off my inflammation. But my food, and now it's now that I find it just gorgeous. But I will eat the 4 pieces of flank steak, the full courgette, a full bell pepper, and I think they come in 100-gram portions of green beans. So I'll eat all that, and that comes out to about 1,300 calories. And then
Okay.
either 2 satsumas, or a tomato, because I like eating tomato with the salt, get my electrolytes, or some pickles, or some kiwi fruits, because I've got some kiwi fruits in at the moment. So I get those things up to, so it's just over 1,400. And I do that daily. Now, this £9, I've got to be honest with you, the week before, I put £4 on. And the week before, I was having a fibromyalgia flare up. And what
Oh,
used to happen was every time my body would have a flare up, it would retain eight pounds in water weight.
oh, wow.
And that's what would happen, before Mounjaro and the CPAP machine. Every time I had a fibromyalgia flare up, but the water wouldn't go, the weight wouldn't go, it would just keep going another £8, another £8. And
I
that's why the
see.
weight was going up. So last week, I think it was about the 8th day of my fibromyalgia flare up when I did the weigh-in and did my video recording. And so I said, I'm amazed. I'm not £8 high that I was expecting, but I am £4 high.
Cool.
And then now I think a lot of the weight that I saw this time round was the water weight leaving my body from last week. But the point is, it is leaving my body.
That's what I'm saying. We'll take that. That's a non-scale victory. Really, it's a scale victory.
It is a scale victory. But
We'll take.
what I love about my journey is I am all about the non-scale victories, because it's not really about the scale, it's the health things for me. And the weight
Yeah.
comes down, it means that it's a victory. But I'm
Yes.
not just trying to weight loss. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get back outside and live like a normal person again.
Now, so you ate the meal you described to us. You ate that. So let's say if you ate that at noon, then when would you eat again? When is your cutting your? When do you cut that window off
I'd
of
probably
eating?
have that meal if I had it at noon, and I'd probably have the pickle, that last 100 calories, probably have that about 2 p.m. And then the next day, I,
So you don't eat after 2 p.m.
if, well, the way I actually do it is I do 5 p.m. So right now in the UK, it's just coming up to 5 p.m. and
Okay.
I'm starting to feel peckish. And I was like that even before pre-Mounjaro. I wasn't eating more than one meal a day, and I was able to handle the hunger. But I'm ready to eat now. That because I've explained what food I'm having. But
Yeah.
then if I eat today at 5 p.m., then I probably won't eat tomorrow until 5 p.m. But it's
Oh,
not a problem if I eat at 3 p.m.
I see. I see. Okay, very good. Oh wow, geez, Louise. Now I might can handle that. Before I got on this 12.5, but oh my goodness, before that, I don't think I could have handled that. But now I probably can. Well, that's good because you're kind of training your body. Once your body gets used to something, then you probably aren't even hungry. You're so used to eating this way, but the one meal a day. That's the great thing about the body. It adapts. That's for sure.
It's brilliant, isn't it? As you say, it's our body is a temple. And I know I mentioned this to you as well before, Dee, is that um my photos before, uh, there's one photo and I cry thinking about it. It's so horrible. This photo of me, and I did not recognize myself that size. I've always been a big bonny girl, but I've never been that big, or feeling that immobile and that swollen and that old. Um, but as you say, I think the photos, even when we are at our largest, we still have to give our bodies the respect it deserves, because it's coming on this journey with us, isn't it? This Mounjaro journey, and
For sure.
it's with us, and I think we've got to love our bodies, whatever it looks like.
I agree, I agree. I love the photos you said. There's one where you have this chef, you're like a chef, you have a chef hat. How long ago was that? I think that's so cute.
That was probably 2017, I think it was.
Okay, 2017.
But
Okay.
that proves that I used to be able to fit into clothes in normal shops. So, if you go for like, when you wear your Halloween costumes and you go to a shop like Party City or something? I don't know. But in the
Yeah.
UK, they're called fancy dress shops. And I'd be able to shop in those because I was a bunny lass, but I was still plus size, but I could fit in those clothes. But now in the UK, especially, I find it really difficult to fit in clothes. I think at my largest, I was a size 26, a UK 26. I don't know what that is in the States, but I remember when we did go to America, we went to New York in 2014, and I was wearing, that's probably the equivalent of being a UK size 18, and it was a
Okay.
5XL in the US. So
Oh,
I know
so
now,
a UK 18 was a 5X?
yeah.
Wow. Jeez Louise.
One of the dresses that I'd got on, I think the dress that I'm wearing, holding high Isla, when I've got my blue hair, that was the one that I got from the States, and that was a 5XL.
Well, I remember going to Paris and London and remember the boutiques and all and thinking like these clothes sizes are run small compared to the US for sure. For
And
sure.
they send you off. They send you off with a dirty look. They're like, "What are you even doing in this shop?" They're not.
And, you know,
They're not quite as. I think.
and I always say, you never know though. People could be in there shopping for somebody else. So when they do stuff like that, that just annoys me to no end because you could be in there shopping for somebody else too, or just looking. I mean, what's wrong with doing that?
Because if you're on the Mounjaro journey, you're going to be in those clothes soon anyway.
Yes, 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 and at the time when the time I went to, Paris and London, I wasn't slim and trim at all, but I didn't get that. I didn't get that feeling, but I knew I couldn't really fit much in there. I wasn't sure what to expect. So do you guys have plus size stores exclusively for plus size? Okay, okay.
Yes, we're saying that though. In recent years, they have started to include plus size sections in some stores. And there's one store, River Island, that they used to have a lovely selection in their plus size. It was literally the same clothes just in bigger sizes. Whereas
Mhm.
before, in other, they'd be like, "Oh, right, if you're going to go plus size, we're just going to sell you a muumuu and
Yes,
put
yeah.
gold, put gold thread on it and call it a Sunday night, Saturday night outfit."
I think the tide is turning all around on that. I think more of the choices for plus size women, it's getting better, but it's not the best. I still don't think it's the best because the best would be like you said, to make the exact same thing just in a bigger size, ideally. And some things I realize the way it's made is probably meant to be a certain size, but surely not everything. You know what I mean?
True.
Not
Yeah.
everything. All right, so tell us about side effects. So have you had any side effects taking Mounjaro? Let me just say you're currently at 306.5, so you
44.
44 and a half. 44 and a half. Geez, Louise, in 3 months. So you are doing it. You are doing it. I love that. So
Only
any
some days.
yes, any side effects? Have you had any side effects?
Now, I'm going to say I've not had side effects. I've had issues, but I think they're issues of my own making. So there was one day when I was making my chicken wings, and instead of using the usual cayenne pepper, I put ground Scotch bonnet pepper and spread it liberally all over the. And then honestly, I had the worst cramps. Oh my!
Mm,
I knew it was from the peppers. So I've had situations like that. The first time I had the constipation, um, that was when I first. That was because I'd not actually had enough fiber. And so like I was saying today, when I have three different veg, um, that one day I didn't have barely any veg. I had a little bit of
okay.
salads. And so I noticed that. But now what I do is I do think about the fiber supplements, because I try to do fiber supplements rather than laxatives, because my doctor, because I suffer with IBS, my doctor says you've got to let your body work better at managing its own
I
digestive
see.
system.
Yeah.
And so,
Instead of relying on the laxative.
yeah, I don't want it being expelled out. I want my body to release it, sort of thing.
Yes.
So what I do now is I take three lots of three, and I think each three is about 8 grams of fiber. So that's the fiber supplement. So I think each day I take 24 grams of fiber as a supplement, as well as the fiber that I'm eating.
Okay. Very good. And what is it called that you're taking again?
I use konjac fiber or psyllium husk.
Oh, that psyllium husk is good.
Yeah, I think that's for me. I think that was a wonder drug, um,
Now,
because
how often do you take that?
I take it 3 times a day. So I take
Okay.
and I make my own little capsules. Hold on, I'll show you some. So I make them again because I'm not working and doing all the things I can to help myself. So I make them into this size, and I'll
Oh,
take.
wait, what do you mean you make them? You make those?
I buy the konjac fiber or the psyllium husk powder in bulk,
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
then buy gelatin or vegetarian capsules, and then make them
Oh,
because it's
that is so clever. I've never heard of anybody doing that on their own. I love that.
it saves so much money.
You go, Joe. I love it. You go, Joe. Okay, very cool. Okay, and so you take 3 of those a day, so that keeps you kinda regular. So anything else besides the constipation? Do you have fatigue, any other side effects?
Well, interestingly, I have had fatigue, but it's actually because of the medication that I've got I've got an extra medication for hypertension. So now I'm full medication for hypertension. But I think sometimes a lot of the things that we said, oh, this is happening to our bodies, it must be the Mounjaro. I think sometimes it's not the Mounjaro. It's either the things that we're doing or the things that's happening. You know, at the moment there's a huge sickness and diarrhea bug that's going around the UK at the moment. You know, so when we've got sickness and nausea or we experience diarrhea, the first thing we say is it must be the Mounjaro. And it's not always the case.
I agree because I remember getting, the one little bout of diarrhea I had, and it was because of what I ate, right? I knew right away. I didn't know how this was gonna agree with me, but I was willing to take the risk. I won't do that again.
Exactly.
The combo I've had, and I agree. I think when people are experiencing these side effects now, constipation makes sense to me because
Yeah.
if your digestive tract and system has slowed down, I can see where, you wouldn't be as regular. And then we're also eating a lot more protein, but really we should also be eating veggies. And I'm sure a lot of people probably aren't eating the veggies comparable to the amount of protein. So that all affects it. So I get the constipation, but the nausea and other things like that, I do think it's related to what we're eating and how the Manjaro is probably interacting with all of that. So I think once people experience that, they immediately, if they want to stay on this medication, they can tweak that, right? Because they want a better experience.
I would say as well, for those that are just starting the medication, Richard gave me great advice. He says, Joe, you're going to experience nausea, you're going to experience sickness. He says, you're going to experience constipation. I didn't experience any of those, but because he told me that's what I was going to experience, he said, so Joe, what you should do is eat less than what you would normally eat. And I think for those that are starting, if they think that they're going to be getting there, unless they control what size of their portion is that they're going to be eating, I think that might actually save them from experiencing those side effects as well. Because you
Yeah.
don't quite know that at this point, until you get used to Mounjaro, you don't quite know that your body has got a cutoff point of the food it can eat. And you could have eaten so much more before you was like, oh, actually, I've eaten too much. And then, as you said,
Yes.
I couldn't suffer. I've got,
That's good advice. Good advice. Now that kind of reminded me.
can I give one more about
Yes.
nausea? So someone told us this. He's a paramedic and he's doing the Mounjaro journey as well. He said, if you've got nausea, he says either, like the swabs that we use to swab the pen or the area and the alcohol swabs, aren't they? He said,
Yes.
if you feel like you're suffering from nausea, open one of those and smell it.
Smell
Apparently,
the alcohol.
yeah, he said apparently it's got some sort of chemical reaction that means that it stops your nausea immediately. And I had that and it did it immediately.
It did it immediately. I think I've heard that, and I haven't had it to try it, but that's a great reminder. Okay, very good. So we're gonna take that alcohol swab. We're gonna sniff it, give it a smell, and it's gonna help settle that sickness for us. Okay, very good. Thank you for that tip. One thing I didn't ask you, do you know how much protein you're getting in? I wanna make sure I get that in. Do you track that at all?
I don't necessarily track it, but because my meals are always protein fit, because I love protein.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
like I've
Yeah.
got those four pieces of Frank steak, or I'll normally have like 7 pieces of chicken wings. And I think it works out about 125. I think that
Okay.
might be low. So I don't know. Someone says that you're supposed to have 1 gram for every 1 kilo you are, and I'm currently 139 kilos. But I'll just throw an egg in there.
Now, I was going to ask you really quick. I just had a flashback to you talking about your fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And I wonder, do you know what's triggering that? Is it something you're eating?
Great question. So I've been through the National Health Service since 2020, since I've had COVID, and I've seen a rheumatologist. I've seen a nephrologist, and I've now seen a cardiologist. It turns out that in 2018, when I was first diagnosed with hypertension, they did the 24-hour urine collection, and it turned out that my aldosterone level was high. But here's the thing, Dee Dee. In the NHS back in 2018, if your aldosterone levels were high, then they would treat you they'd carry on looking out for primary aldosteronism, unless you were black. And what they said, seriously, what they said in my letter, it says, people of Afro-Caribbean descent are prone to having higher levels of aldosterone in their system. So don't worry about it. But turns out we're also the same ones that've got high percentage of deaths from lupus nephrology, from complications with the kidneys, and through diabetes. We're the ones who really get a kidney if your kidney fails. So luckily, my doctors have now said, hold on a minute, you've got this really high aldosterone. And so I've been referred now back to the hypertension clinic, and they're going to do the workup to diagnose me with primary aldosteronism. But until they got that diagnosis, my rheumatologist, she said, you've got symptoms which are fibromyalgia, which are the fatigue, the muscle aches, lymph nodes coming up on your neck and under your armpits and in the groin area. Really bad pins and needles. It's a horrible thing, but all that
Yes.
can impact me, the aldosterone.
Wow.
Cured with a pill.
Cured with the pill.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
amazing,
Okay.
isn't it?
It is. It is. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I just wanted to, see if you had pinpointed that to anything. Mounjaro should also be helping with some of that too.
I think so. As I say, last time before Mounjaro, every time I would have a fibromyalgia flare up, I'd put £8 on and it would stay on. This time around, I only put £4 on and it came off the next week. The other thing that I found, and this was one of the big reasons why I was unable to walk, was they called it Raynaud's, but again, it could be the aldosterone, just affecting the circulation of my fingers and my toes. And I couldn't stand up, because my toes were just inflamed. So I couldn't. But I found him now, certainly my hands are so much better with the circulation issues. And I've currently only got one toe that is inflamed at the moment. The rest,
So it's inflamed right now.
yeah, it looks
Um,
like a big old bruise. The toe, the middle toe looks like twice the size as the other toes.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So is that why you use a cane? I see you. Do you use a cane? Is that the reason? Okay. All right.
I was scheduled to book in for a mobility scooter, whereas I don't think I need a mobility scooter now. I think that with strength training, I'll be able to move much further along with my cane.
So are you strength training? Or tell us about the exercise. It sounds like it would be difficult, but the strength training you could do like right now. Do those arms with weights. You can start there.
Most of it's sitting, but you can
Hmm.
still do your arms and your legs.
Yeah.
I've got a vibration plate, but I'm not allowed to go on that until I've had my heart monitor fitted, because they said it might affect the problems I'm having with my heart. And then I've been using the walking pad. I've been seeing you on the walking pad.
Yeah,
And I'm there with my cane, but I'm doing it.
do it. Yes, yes. And I said I'm gonna try to get on there because that's motivating for me to get on there and talk. And it's funny because I got on there and was talking. Before I knew it, my 30 minutes was up.
Exactly.
Uh, Yes,
Exactly. The fact that you're able to talk. And
yes,
I
yes,
could barely talk 'cause just getting up off the chair, I was so breathless. But now the things that are happening because of Mounjaro and the things that we're doing, our health is just
yes.
massively improving.
So we'll have to come back months from now and see your progress and where you are. And I'm pretty sure the comparison is gonna be out of this world. I'm excited
Mm.
for you. So I'm glad to hear you're doing that strength training, you're getting the movement in. And we always say start where you are, right? This is where you are now. The more you do it and over time you'll be able to do more and more. So I'm looking forward to seeing your progress with that exercise.
You too.
So
Didi, I love your channel. I love
thank you.
the community. I love it so much. So I'll be watching with you as well.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So I wanna know, have you noticed changing your clothes, 44.5 pounds, have you noticed changing your clothes? What are some non-scale victories you can share with us that you've had?
I've been able to fit into two of my favorite jumpsuits, but these were jumpsuits that I bought probably about 2023, so still much larger. I can fit back into those two now.
Yes.
My fingers, as I say, the fat, Didi, this is a terrible thing for me to admit, but I can now clean my teeth standing upright because I had no energy, I had
Yeah.
no strength to stand upright. And now I can do it for 2 minutes and I can walk up the stairs in one go without having to stop and take a breath. So
Oh my gosh, you know what I'm gonna say? Jeez Louise! How awesome is that? Don't you feel good about yourself? Does that make you, like, motivate you to just keep it going? Keep
it's,
it going.
it's summer now and all my friends are out there and having picnics and going to festivals and things. And I'm still at the moment stuck in the house. But I'm saying at the moment,
For now, let's
not
say for now. It's not
for
gonna be
now.
forever.
It's not going
Yes.
to be long before I'm out there with them. And again, that's all the motivation I need just to get out there and do things with the family. So yes, it's
Oh, I
very
love that for you.
exciting. Very exciting.
Yes, and this is why we say these medications are life-changing, right? And so you're still doing that OMAD, like, Mounjaro is not knocking on your door and saying, "You gotta do OMAD, you gotta eat 1,400 calories," because you could I always tell people I know people that, including myself, that could overeat this medication. There are times when the appetite suppression wasn't as strong, and that's why I say it's me and my determination and the systems I put in place that has stopped me from doing that. So the Manjaro is a tool, but it's not the whole thing. So I want you to also take credit for, what you're doing, the changes you're making and everything you're doing. So you could be out there with those friends hanging out. I mean, that's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I can see you now.
I cannot wait. Honestly, I cannot wait. We've got plans. My birthday is the 21st of July. We've got plans. Me and my two girlfriends, we're going to go to a country pub and have a meal in a country pub. And I might even be able to get a vodka. I'm not supposed to drink because I've got my kidney issues, but I might be able to have a vodka on my birthday. And
Yes.
put
When is your birthday?
the 21st of July. I know you're a July baby as well.
This is
When's
so
your,
crazy. It's July 21st.
there is not.
We some birthday twins. Hey, hey, hey.
I knew it. You're my cousin. You're my cosmic sister.
Oh, yes. I love that. How funny is that? Jeez, Louise. Shay and Joe, we're the birthday twins. I love that.
Then what plans have you got for your birthday then? What
You
are
know
you
what? I
doing?
have not made any plans yet. I think that following weekend or sometime in July, I'm going to Houston. And so I consider I'm going to celebrate my birthday then. But on my actual birthday, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't really have plans. But I probably just like my family and close friends are going to go like you and have a nice dinner somewhere. All right. So let's talk about, do you have an end goal? Like, because I know when you're when you're still up in those pounds, it's hard to see yourself smaller. But I think if you can see yourself, you can definitely you'll get there.
If I'm honest, I think my goals are more health concerned, but
Okay,
because
good.
there's a lot of, and especially if it turns out to be primary aldosteronism and I'm just eating one pill, then all I need to do is lose the weight. So then you say, well, what weight are you going to go to? I think I felt strong and yet still funny and bubbly because that's always going to be my character. I always want to be hugging people, and people let the girls hug each other. They don't let the skinny ones hug them quite so much. So I want to be that girl. I think it's going to be UK size 16 to 18, which I think in the US is UK 14 to 16. That's
Okay. That's okay, good, good. So you don't wanna lose those curves, in other words, you still wanna have some curves going on.
it's all about kids.
Oh, I love that, I love that. You kinda hit on this earlier, but as we talk about newbies taking this medication, if you could give them one piece of advice, what would it be?
Find a community. Find invite anyone of these communities. I watch so many of people now, especially your subscribers, they've got their own communities. I'm now watching all of theirs as well. But everyone has got the right intentions, and everyone who's in the part of the community, they're all motivators, they're cheerleaders, they'll answer any question, and seriously, any question. Was it you guys who answered my question about perimenopause?
Yes, yes, yes.
The community is find a community and then you're away. You don't need any more. You don't need any more advice than that because the community will help you.
I agree, I agree. I always say we show up and show out for each other, and I love that, I love that. So if you have an issue, a problem, or something's not going right that week, come and join those lives and get in that chat, and they will help you out. And if you just wanna celebrate yourself, because I realize, a lot of people don't have that support. A lot of people are alone on this journey, and we just wanna give you that support and be that support system for you. So that I think that's great advice. Now I'm gonna ask you, what word would you use to describe yourself before you took Mounjaro? Is there a word that would describe
Oh
all
wow,
you were feeling or going through?
surplus. I,
What did you say?
surplus. I thought
Surplus, okay.
there was no, there was no point me being here. This is a terrible thing to
Oh,
say, but I wasn't contributing in any way. I wasn't contributing to work. I wasn't contributing to society because I was too tired.
you were too tired, right?
And that's
Yeah.
it. And I think the best thing that's happened to me, not only getting the CPAP and the Mounjaro, but is being able to have a community and being able to bring my own community together. Because I think before I didn't want to be seen until I was well again. Well, it takes
Mm.
time to get well again, but
Yeah.
how I'm energized by the community, and I think that is so important.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That breaks my heart, but I feel like you have a turnaround. So what no, so now today, what word would you use to describe yourself after taking Manjaro? What would
And,
be your word now?
oh, I think I'm me again. I think I'm me again. I've got my vitality back.
Oh, I
So
love that word, vitality. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I
And
feel it's like
you would never know because your spirit is so energetic. Like everything about you, and when I visit your channel, is so energetic. So to know that I always say words have power. So to see this transformation, even in the words, you got to keep that vitality going. I'm sure you will. It's only going to get more electric and and
I love it.
energizing as time goes on. Gosh, that makes me happy to
Yes,
hear that.
I'm bringing in
Yeah,
all the
bringing in
vibes.
the vibes,
The
alright.
fun
And
vibes.
we got these twin vibes, these twin birthday vibes going on, so yeah, you gotta keep that energy going. Love that. So let's play a quick little game before we talk about we're gonna talk about your YouTube channel and tell us all about that, but I want to play a quick little word association game with you, and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind when I say this word or phrase. So if you can't think of one word, you could say a phrase if you have to. And if you feel compelled to explain it, you can, but you don't have to. You can say one word and keep it moving. So the first word is YouTube.
Community.
Community. Okay, good, good. Exercise.
Bring it on.
I love that. I love that. Weight loss.
Thriving.
Yes, yes, yes. What about diet culture?
I think our community is great. I think some of those those diet cultures, they're a little bit, they're, they tell you when you're wrong, and I don't think we're ever wrong. I think, if you have a blip on Mounjaro, it is just a blip.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
nothing that you've not committed a crime or anything. You've just eaten a donut.
Yeah, it's like a judgment-free zone that we're trying to create, right?
That's it.
Yes, yes. And giving yourself grace. I always say give yourself grace and you can make it through that way, right? Because you just start back, you get back up and start back over. All right. And what about family?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Life after weight loss.
What was that? Sorry,
Life after your weight loss.
I cannot wait.
You're gonna be out and about doing your thing. I absolutely love it and can't wait to see it. I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna be a witness to this journey.
I
So I
bought a
absolutely
gimbal because I'm expecting to be out. Me and the cane are going to be out. We're going everywhere. I'm not going to see this house much anymore once I get there. I've been
yes.
housed out for so long. I cannot wait to just be out.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it too. So, that leads us right into you are kinda out, but you're not outside literally, but you're out on YouTube.
I'm out, not out, out.
Yeah, so tell us about your YouTube channel and, how did you come up with your name, Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey?
To be honest, I think it was because I got the Mounjaro and the CPAP on the same day. And again, getting that result that 600 times a night, and I knew that I was struggling to sleep. Sleep was the main part of the whole reason why I joined it. But I already knew that the community was about Mounjaro and we're all helping each other with the slimming down. So I
Yeah.
thought that's just how it came through. Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey. And now I can say it off the top of my head. Then like when I was on episode 2 or 3, I still had to have it written somewhere just so I could say it right.
Yes, I have to remember, but now that helps me that it's sleep first, sleep and slim down
Yeah.
journey. Okay, very good. So what are you doing over there on your channel? Tell us about it.
Well, I do I do a weekly update. Right, DD, I'm try as much as I can to get on your lives because I feel like it's time with the girls. It's time with it's a social event. I love it. I love how you call everyone's name when we come on. I don't think I've got anything like that energy to do. You do that 3 times a week. I have all my energy for the Friday episode, but then
Okay, okay.
I love doing the community chats and then going out and looking at everybody else's videos and the things that they're doing. So my weekly updates, they tend to talk about what I've been doing. They always cover at least 2 of my NSVs, and I ask others to share theirs. Then I talk about all the different channels, and so I showcase probably about 5 or 6 different ones in there. So it could be a huge channel, it could be a tiny channel, but really what I'm showcasing is the things that have happened on there. So like the other day, of course, I showcased your perimenopause and menopause panel. That was
Yes,
brilliant.
that was
Um,
great.
it really was. And I think there was so much information in there that those of us in the UK we've never been told that stuff before.
Really?
Seriously.
Wow.
My doctor told me in 2016 that I was perimenopausal, and that's all they said. They didn't tell me anything else.
And we've gotten better over time. We've gotten better here in the US with it. And it's taken, some celebrities to speak out about it and some doctors. And that's why I think YouTube is so great because it's a wealth of knowledge and information and things you probably would never know, that's going on. So, yeah. So I like how you highlight different things that you're encountering over the week.
Yeah, and I think again that's where I get my energy from throughout the week. And then the other thing I get my energy from is then the comments. So if I'm commenting on your videos, then the conversations that I have, the conversations with people that have commented on mine, and what I've now been building, I call it my community map. But if you've seen my channel, you see there's a knitted Joe. So my logo is a knitted Joe. What I've done is if the community member, and when I say member, I just mean anyone who's watching my channel, if they're willing, they can put their name, their state, and their country down in the comments. And then the next time I'm updating the scrapbook, I'm putting images of my community members. So Dee Dee, I'm going to have one of you, and I'm not going to tell you what it's going to have because that's for you to have as a surprise. But it's going to be a knitted version of you.
What? Dee in a knitted
What?
cartoon version 4. How about that?
Watch out! You watch out! It should be coming out the end of July. So
End of
yeah.
July. Okay. All right. I want to be on the watch out for that. I love that. You are so fun. You are so funny. I just love it. I love the fan too. Like, I don't know if you're purposely doing the fan, but it's like I love it. It's like the whole vibe of it all.
I'm always hot, and my friends have known I'm always hot. So every time they go away, they always bring me back a fan. So that's why I've got so
Ah, okay. Yep. My daughter told me we need a fan when we go to Texas. So she's like, we got to get us a
shot.
fan.
Especially now with the boots on the ground.
Yes.
In Texas.
Do you know how to do that? Have you seen that dance?
I've seen it. I'm not yet mastered it. Well, obviously, I'm still struggling to walk, but that's my one mini goal is as soon as I'm strong enough, I want to show you all we do in the boots on the ground.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Boots on the ground. That isn't that funny. That's one of our motivations is to do that. Boots on the ground.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So this has been great. This has been great talking to you. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I would love for you guys to go to her channel, check it out. She's at Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey. I love that. So hopefully you can relate to some of the things that she talked to us about. Thank you so much for stopping in and doing this interview. It was so cool to talk to you and get to know you. And I am not going to say goodbye. I will say see you in the next video.
See you in the next video, and you have yourself a fantastic week.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Downsizing Diva, and I'm here to stay. Feeling good, taking my GLP-1 meds.